While the flames were slowly consuming the entire place, Camus began to stare at them intently, extended her hand and started to summon a fireball. At first, Vikia and Dollars remained silently watching her, but then Vikia's gaze fixed on her, creating tension in the atmosphere. No one knew what Camus was doing in this place. Dollars began to observe Vikia with a surprised expression and couldn't help but blush upon seeing that the night hound had protected her. She became nervous, turned her head to one side, and her eyes filled with surprise. In a matter of seconds, the flames consumed most of this place, and the fireball that Camus had summoned slowly began to grow larger. Dolores' attention was fixed on Camus, and she soon realized that her attack was not only directed at the night hound but also at her, asking if she too was an undead. Vikia put the cloak in front of her to protect her from the attack and mentioned that she probably was also an undead. He began staring intently at Camus and asked Dolores how long this woman had been with Quilty. Turned her head towards Vikia and with an insecure and uncertain expression revealed that she had recently heard that this woman had been hired by Quilty. After saying this, with a lost gaze she sank into her thoughts. She was not willing to stand idly by, so she clasped both hands together, causing a golden glow to appear. With a firm look, she mentioned that as a servant of God, she could not stand idly by if the opponent was an undead, deciding to provide support to the night hound. Camus, who was standing in front of them, prepared to attack, but our boy started walking towards her and ordered Dolores to step back since he wanted to verify something about this woman. Upon hearing this, Dolores decided to at least offer support with a healing spell, but our boy refused, explaining that it wasn't necessary. Seeing that Vikia was approaching, Camus, who had her hand extended towards them, decided to change her method of attack. She used her power, making the flames grow more intense, and at that moment, spikes made of explosive energy emerged from nowhere. She began to control the spikes and hurled them forcefully toward Vikia. As the attack slowly approached, Vikia unsheathed the Beelzebub sword and continued walking toward her without the slightest intention of backing down. Just before the attack could hit him, he swung the sword with precision, cutting the spikes into small pieces without much effort, and with a piercing look indicated to Camus that this type of attack was not going to work against him. But to Vikia's surprise, the spikes exploded behind him, creating small but powerful explosions. Our boy began observing her in silence, realizing that he had narrowly escaped. With an angry expression full of rage, Camus prepared to attack again. She was not willing to give up so easily. Vikia recognized her long, straight red hair. She was using magic that seemed to be at least level 6. Combining iron and fire. It wasn't common to find someone capable of using that level of magic at such a young, even within the prestigious Mogg family specialized in magic. Our boy was quite injured and decided to change plans, sheathing the Beelzebub sword. Noticing this, Camus decided to take advantage of it. She extended her hands backward and used her power to summon more spikes again, but Vikia stood firm. Due to the fire, pieces of wood from the ceiling were now stuck in the ground. She threw the spikes at him, creating large and powerful explosions near him. But once the smoke curtain created by the explosions began to fade, Vikia emerged unscathed. And with a murderous look he grabbed one of the pieces of wood. Camus attacked again, and the explosive spikes passed close to Vikia's shoulders, creating small cuts on his shoulders. And despite being injured, he continued walking firmly towards his target. She attacked again, but Vikia slightly turned his head to the side, causing the attack to destroy part of his hood. He began staring at her, indicating that he was not ready to give up so easily. Noticing this, Dolores panicked and her gaze filled with concern. She didn't know why the night hound was heading straight into the attacks. Camus did not stop attacking. She extended her hand towards them and started launching a chain of spikes. Several of them struck Vikia's body, but despite this, he stood firm and continued walking toward his target. Dolores began to observe our boy, and it didn't take long for her to come to the conclusion that Vikia was planning something and knew this woman. Many questions came to her mind, questioning what the relationship between them was. Vikia began staring at her, remembering the past. He started imagining Camus sitting in a chair, and next to her uncle, before regressing. It was known that she got along well with Adolphe Mogg, so in that case, there would have been no reason for her to go into close training. When Vikia was a child, one day he ran into Camus, who was furious, asking what he had just said. Our boy remained calm and stayed silent. On another occasion, she began pointing at the city map with her finger, and with a furious expression she made sure he understood where the blonde's mineral property was. In the past, during a fight, she fell to her knees on the ground. But Vikia appeared to protect her, and some time later, when they both grew up a little more, they rode horses, and with a happy smile Camus gave our boy 8 out of 100 points for knowing well the ecology of barbarian tribes. Some time later, Vikia extended his hand towards her. One day someone tried to attack her, but Vikia intervened and put his hand in front, blocking the attack. In the forest where Madame was, Vikia prepared to fight, while on the other side, Uncle Adolphe and another boy took Camus away to keep her out of danger. She extended her hand towards Vikia, asking them to stop. The giant spider known as Madame emerged from the forest and began staring at our boy. He drew his sword, and while his body was surrounded by a powerful energy, he prepared to fight. While the ground was in flames, Vikia took a step toward her and began imagining innocent Camus. In conclusion, if he hadn't made contact with that girl, if he hadn't built a relationship with her, if only he hadn't used her for his plan, this wouldn't be happening. But due to the decisions he had made and the things he had reversed, they had been accumulating. So there was a possibility that the brilliant future of the heroine Camus Mogg had disappeared. Back in the present, Camus began to look at Vikia with a piercing expression. Being totally different from before, Vikia approached her, and her eyes filled with confusion and sadness, and upon seeing this, he couldn't help but wonder what he had done to her. Camus, who was now an undead, stood firm, and with a serious expression, she extended her hand towards Vikia, summoned a fireball and prepared to attack. But just before she could make another move, Vikia grabbed her hand, and just before she could do anything about it, he placed his other hand on top of her head, causing her eyes to fill with confusion and alertness. Now that she was immobilized, Vikia firmly grasped her face and without a hint of remorse, forcefully tore off the mask she was wearing, revealing the true face of the undead. Dollars put her hands near her face and couldn't help but be both terrified and astonished at the same time. Upon seeing the true face of Quilty's subordinate, Vikia's expression changed and his gaze filled with disappointment. The demon prepared to attack and began summoning a fireball in her palm. With a murderous look, Vikia grabbed her hand tightly, pushed it aside, and upon seeing that she was preparing to attack, he thought this wasn't good. But just before she could make another move, he drew his sword and swung it forcefully, cutting the demon's neck. The demon's body began to fall to the ground, and the head flew off to one side until several seconds later, both the lifeless body and head hit the floor. Vikia silently watched for several seconds until, due to his injuries, he fell to his knees on the ground. Seeing that the Nighthound was injured, Dollars, who was behind him, panicked and thought this wasn't good. Vikia, now covered in blood, placed a hand and knee on the ground to rest a bit. Dollars approached him, sat down next to him, started using her healing powers as her eyes filled with tears upon seeing that he was hurt. While the lifeless corpse of the demon lay before them, Vikia began observing it in silence. Her attention shifted toward the corpse and with an expression full of fear she asked if he knew this person. With a lost gaze, Vikia remained thinking in silence. The reality was that this undead really was Camus Mogg. Half of her face was decomposed. Vikia began to lie, saying that fortunately it was an unknown face, even with his body full of wounds. Vikia began to stand up, saying that it was enough already. Dollars, who was using her power to heal his wounds, panicked and mentioned that the wound was still open. But our boy responded that just with this he already felt perfect. With his mind filled with questions, with an anxious expression she asked why he kept fighting until reaching such a horrible state, asking him to explain a reason. Vikia stood up, clenched his fist tightly and responded that the reason was demon hunting. With a fearful and confused look, she began to stare at him and ask why he was hunting demons. He turned his back on her and mentioned that it was just personal revenge. After saying this, he approached the corpse and gently picked up Kama Smog's mask. He started observing the mask and began recalling the masks of other demons. This one also emitted a powerful demonic energy. But they were only sacks being used as guards. He decided it would be better to investigate further about it. But at that moment, a voice emerged from Kama Smog's corpse asking Vikia to return the mask. Upon hearing this, both Vikia's and Dollar's attention shifted towards the corpse. They were both terrified and confused at the same time. A mouth appeared on the corpse, and it mentioned that Afibo, Heber, Feto, and even Geronto had been borrowed from that woman, revealing that she was going to be furious. Dollars put her hand under her chin and couldn't help but remain open-mouthed and terrified upon seeing a mouth emerge from the body. The mouth recognized Vikia's pandemic mask and quickly realized he was the guy who had been attacking their branches lately. Vikia began staring at the corpse, recognizing it as one of the 10 elite corpses and asking why they were asking if they already knew. With a gaze full of rage, Vikia realized that he was Quilty. Dollars was left open-mouthed and shocked at the same time. She began to observe his mouth, and with a surprised expression realized that this voice belonged to the bastard Quilty. For the demon, it was unexpected to be discovered by the Saintess. A smug smile appeared on his face since his plan had worked. For the sake of a great cause, he had no choice but to give up his identity as Quilty, revealing that he had been avoiding touching the Saintess out of fear of increasing people's vigilance. But it was no longer necessary. Both remained silent for several seconds until her body began trembling in fear. She had never thought that Quilty was a demon. With an evil smile, Quilty suggested to her to maintain an expression dominated by despair and fear, as he wanted to see this expression when he would remove the soft skin from her face. The Saintess clasped her hands and began to pray, causing a powerful golden aura to appear around her body, leaving the demon somewhat confused. She decided not to stand idly by doing nothing. And with a determined look she swore by her soul that she would make the wicked feel the weight of their karma twice. She used the holy light ability, causing a powerful light to emerge from the sky and strike against the corpse. Her divine power slowly began to consume the corpse, until several seconds later, it completely disintegrated the demon's mouth. Her power not only disintegrated the demon but also Kama Smog's corpse, leaving only ashes on the ground. Vikia, who was standing next to her, began observing Kama Smog's head and remained silently thinking. Dollars, who had her hands clasped together with an angry expression, asked the demon to reflect in the afterlife. But at that moment, someone who was behind them began licking their lips with a smile, revealing that after all, the Saintess's face was rare. Upon hearing this, she didn't take long to recognize the voice in her eyes filled with fear and despair, and just then, a powerful light struck Vikia's body, piercing his chest without even giving him time to react. Vikia, who was wounded, fell to his knees on the ground, and seeing this, Dollars approached to help. At that moment, someone started approaching them. It was none other than the bastard Quilty, or better known as Dantalion. He put his hand in front of him, making the mouth that Dolores had just disintegrated appear on his palm. He began to smile and with an excited look mentioned that it wasn't polite to interrupt someone in the middle of a sentence. She got angry and asked the demon how he could disguise himself as Quilty and commit such a horrible act. Quilty started walking towards them and with a smile explained that the reason was because he was a demon after all, asking if she was sure about fighting him. Vikia, who was wounded, fell to his knees on the ground, but Dollars stood in front of him to protect him. She extended her hand to the sides and despite being afraid, she accepted the fight. The demon placed a hand over his chest, extended the other towards her and with a confident smile mentioned that she was still an immature novice, questioning if a dying swordsman could face someone like him. At first, Dollars stood firm, but then tears and despair appeared in her eyes. Quilty grabbed her chin and explained that she was trying to act strong without realizing that fear was escaping through her face. The demon approached her, began to look into her eyes, stuck out his tongue, and with a smile revealed that she couldn't fool anyone with a face like that. Having the demon so close made her start to feel a fear she had never felt before. Quilty began to show his true nature while drool was falling from his mouth. He started staring at her and couldn't help but smile since he finally had the Saintess's face in his hands. But his happiness didn't last long, as Vikia stabbed the Beelzebub sword into the demon's neck, causing his eyes to fill with confusion. He didn't know how Vikia could keep fighting being so injured. He revealed that Quilty was a coward who easily sacrificed his subordinates and who never wanted to fight head-on, so he had thought that he wouldn't appear unless Vikia was injured. The wound Vikia had on his chest because of Quilty's attack had now healed. With a confident expression, he explained that he had simply pretended to be hurt, revealing that healing wounds like this was nothing for him. Vikia was thirsty for revenge and asked the demon what he thought of his performance. Our boy's sword pierced the demon's head, making his eyes turn red. It seemed that the demon was now dead, but several seconds later, this bastard's eyes began to glow, and his gaze fixed on Vikia with an exciting smile full of rage. He called Vikia a damned brat and asked him to call him Dantalion. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part,